Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and we have something absolutely epic to take a look at today because we've got a brand new paint variant for the Nanmu Spinosaurus, and not just the brand new paint variant, but what I would consider probably the best looking paint variant I've seen on a Nanmu Spinosaurus so far. I am so hyped to get this out of the package and take a look at it. As you can see, the box art here on the front of the box features a brand new image here of the Spinosaurus. Again, the image is the Spino with the new color scheme, which looks super cool. Incredible artwork they always put here on the front of the box of these Nanmu releases. And then if we come up here to the top, it's upside down currently, but you can see again that this is the Spinosaurus 2.0, even though this technically would be the fifth, I believe, Spinosaurus that we've had so far from Nanmu. And then here on the back, you can very clearly see a nice shot of the figure itself, looking incredible here on the back of the box. Absolutely gorgeous color scheme chosen by Nanmu. And then, oh, I messed it up. It's upside down, so we've got to turn it around without knocking everything over. On the bottom of the box, you can see again we've got some new images here showing off the figure, kind of different angles and everything of it, giving us an idea of what it's going to look like when we actually pull it out of the box here in a moment. So let's get the box out of here, open it up, and we'll bring in our new Spinosaurus. So first of all, and as always, we've got the art card that you always get with your Nanmu releases, and you can see again we have the same image that we had seen on the front of the box there. But then on the back we've got that super cool hand-drawn image, again almost looking like concept art or something from Crash McCreary. Absolutely love that kind of stuff. Really enjoy the hand-drawn sides of these cards. And then we've got our base, and the base is pretty similar to what we had seen last time, as we have like some broken pieces of an airplane and everything here. But you might take notice to the fact that there is like a lot of blood all over the place here, like absolutely disturbing looking area here, because this is clearly where the Spinosaurus takes its meals and feeds. But what's cool about this is the fact that not only is this, again, a really nice bloody base, but we get a bloody Tyrannosaurus Rex head. Obviously, a very Jurassic Park style Tyrannosaurus Rex head. The head has been completely severed from the body, looking incredibly cool and incredibly disgusting at the same time. And that would go right here, like that. Oh, it actually pops in with a magnet. Couldn't really see that too well, but I will, of course, show that off to you here in a little bit. And then we've got the Spinosaurus itself, and man, is that thing ever incredible looking. Let's get this on the base so we could check it out standing up here in all its glory. There's the peg. So there is our Spinosaurus now on the base, and man, is that ever absolutely gorgeous. Like, the coloration on this is so realistically done. And even though I'm a huge fan of the Jurassic Park 3 Spinosaurus, you know, the Jurassic Park 3 color scheme, I'm definitely more partial to this one. I think it looks way more naturalistic, way more realistic as a whole, and Nanmu nailed it as far as the actual application of the paint. It is super, super nice here at first glance, but of course the only way to truly tell is with a closer look, so let's jump to that closer look right now. Now, one thing to remember, one thing to keep in mind is this is the exact same sculpt as the previously released Spinosaurus. There are no differences between this sculpt and the one that they had released not long ago. But what is different, of course, is the paint job. So that's what we really need to go over. And you can see, again, the head sculpt has some absolutely incredible paint application. I love that they have these lighter tones in the face that really help to highlight the face in a gorgeous, gorgeous way. You can see these nice lighter tones running along the jawline here, reaching up into the face. You've got some really nice pinkish tones there around the eye, and look at how smooth the transition is up into those pinkish tones. That is very nice looking. And look at the eye. The eye is painted in such a cool way where it really stands out with those nice bluish tones that you have. Just a little small area of blue in there, and then of course the darker eye as a whole, and that just makes the entire thing stand out really nicely. You've also got some darker variations of browns that move up and over the snout, up toward the crest and everything, and then you can see some spots and stuff. Very subtle additions as far as those spots here in the face. Also looks like we might have a dark wash present there, even within the lighter tones, because it highlights that area nicely. You can see more of those lighter tones, and again those spots and the dark wash here on the lower jaw as well. Super nice looking paintwork. You can also see the mouth, of course, again is sculpted in an open position, just like it was last time around. You can see the paintwork of the inside of the mouth is ultra realistic. That is absolutely phenomenal. There's just so many different tones of color in there, all really naturalistic coloration, nice gloss coat to help everything shine like it should. And then you can see the inside of the mouth here looks great. The tongue is absolutely incredible as far as the paintwork. Again, numerous variations of color on the tongue. And then same deal, yep, as we look inside the mouth, that is an insane looking inside of the mouth. Very nice, again, detailing, but the paintwork also helps to add so much life to it. It just looks extremely realistic. And again, I would honestly say it looks alive in there. That's crazy. Nice looking paintwork, and again, that gloss coat just polishing it all off. And just like as always, we have the very nice realistic teeth that you always find on Nanmu models. I would say that the teeth of a Nanmu model probably are the most realistic teeth on the market. I really don't know that anybody can compete with Nanmu when it comes to the realism of the teeth. Honestly, there's not much that anybody can compete with Nanmu with, because whether it's the sculpts, the paint, the realism, everything on a Nanmu model is off the charts. When you look at the model from up above, you can see a really cool striping effect moving down the course of the snout. You have nice darker tones. You can see all kinds of variations, again, of browns. You've got nice dry brushing of alternate shades of browns in certain areas to highlight the detail beautifully. And we get more of that striping effect as we move down the course of the neck here. You can also see lighter variations of browns creeping through these scoots that move down the spinal column. You have even lighter variations of browns up there that look super cool. And again, look at how smooth that paintwork is. That is just incredibly realistic. We also have, again, that kind of stripe that leads down from the side of the jawline there and down in through the neck. You can see that kind of squiggly stripe moving down, some more spots here and there. There's honestly just so much going on here as far as coloration, it's almost hard to kind of pick up on it all. You can even see alternate variations of lighter variations of browns, like orangish browns, showing up here and there as well. Really smooth transition to a lighter tone here for the underside of the throat and the underside of the dinosaur in general. As you continue to move down, you now see that the body becomes almost overtaken with all sorts of dark black spots and stuff all over the place, as well as alternate shades again of like orangish browns. You can see even more of those popping up here in the stomach region, but I really think that looks so nice and so realistic. The entire thing has almost a crocodilian sort of feel to me, and that's one of the things that I think makes this paint scheme just so nice and so realistic. It just looks like the coloration a Spinosaurus would be. As you move up into the sail, you can continue to see, again, just a plethora of coloration. You've got all those darker tones leading up and down between the areas of the sail. You've also got more of those orangish browns. You've got more of those light kind of tan tones in there. And again, the darker tones moving along the upper side of the sail. It's extremely appealing looking, gives the sail a very nice flashy look, exactly as you would expect for a Spinosaurus, but without going overly flashy, without making it look ridiculous or out of place. It's very, very, again, naturalistic, like this entire paint scheme is. As you move down here into the arms, you can see we transition from those variations of browns up there to the lighter tones that you kind of see for the underside, but then you regain some of those variations of browns as you move down the arm. You also have some nice striping and spotting as you move through the arm, and again, as you move down into the hand is almost overtaken again with those variations of browns. And look at that coloration. Like, that paintwork is honestly out of this world. Nanmu continues to improve all the time, and it's always like just so amazing to me, because every time I get a model, I always think, like, when it comes to a Nanmu model, it can't get better than this, and then the next time it does somehow get better than this. I don't know how they do it. And you can see the nails also have a nice glossy black coloration to them, but they also have a grayish dry brushing, it looks like, just to add a little extra coloration to those nails. As you move up into the stomach region, you can again see more of that kind of black coloration spotting and striping here through the stomach. You can really see how nice that dark wash is. It's like perfectly applied to where it doesn't overtake the coloration, but just adds that perfect amount of realism and highlights the detail in the best way possible. As you move back here a little bit further, you continue to see again all of that variation of like spotting and designing, striping, and the mixtures of blacks and browns and stuff here all over the place. But as you move down the course of the thigh, you see more of that kind of turn into like a striping effect again leading down. You can see more of those orangish brown tones, even like some pinkish tones here moving down in the musculature of the thigh. And then we continue to see that moving down the course of the leg, and similar to the way the hands looked, again we have just such a nice mixture of all of those colors in the foot, and again it just looks super realistic. This is absolutely my favorite paint variant of the Nanmu Spinosaurus. And then as you move up, you can see the very large kind of cluster of all of those colors start to disappear. And now we just have like a really cool striping effect as we move out into the tail. But there is like a black and a brown, and then there's also some of those orangish browns I could see poking up here and there through the course of that striping as you move out into that tail and out toward the tip. It looks absolutely incredible. And then if we look here along the underside, you can again see how nice that wash has been applied, how nice that lighter tone has been applied. And there actually appears to be some variation of color within those lighter tones, which I also really quite like. I almost see like some slight, very slight hints of like greenish tones down there. And then if we take a look at the opposing side, you can again see how incredible that head sculpt looks. Love the use of that pinkish tone there in the eye socket area. It just looks so nice. You can also see that the ear has been highlighted with that darker tone. This is definitely some of Nanmu's best paintwork. There's no doubt about that. And as you move back, you again have that same style and that same patterning going on here to the paintwork, which looks just as amazing over here as it did on the initial side. We continue to see that as you move through the course of the entire model. There's just so much color on this, so much variation of color, and there's also this really nice finish that they put over it, like this really nice, very slight satin shine, which makes it look super nice, super realistic, but also just shines so beautifully. Again, same style of paintwork there on the arm, looking incredible. You can see the stomach a little bit better here. You can see how the stripe is almost a little more broken up on this side compared to what we would see on the initial side, and that's also something you would probably see when it comes to a real living animal. You know, some slight differences between the color on one side to the other side when it comes to a reptile or something like that. But you can see again that we also again lead out and we have that big cluster of coloration here. We again have those stripes as we move down. You can also see the stripes on the inside of the leg on the opposing side, the really nicely painted foot again over here, and then again that striping as you move out there into the tail, as well as that gorgeous coloration up there in the sail. So absolutely no doubt about it, this is the best Spinosaurus from Nanmu so far as I'm concerned. And then we've got the base, and again the base is very reminiscent to what we had seen the first time around for the most part, because you can see some areas of the plane that have been again broken and destroyed here, but you can also see that the entire thing is a really nice amount of paintwork to it, but it also is just overloaded with blood. There is just blood splattered all over the airplane, splattered all over the ground. You can see all over this part here, just blood splattered everywhere, and even over here as you lead into the footprint of the Spinosaurus, you can see again just blood everywhere. And I love the nice glossy shine they've added to it, just making it look again like real blood, you know, kind of like semi-dried blood, I would say it looks like, and then a mixture of like the dried blood as well as more recent application of the blood, because it looks like maybe the dinosaur has recently fed, and we will see exactly why that is here in a moment. But I think the base looks incredibly cool, definitely a really nice touch, really nice addition to this model. And here is why we have a lot of blood, because you've got the T-Rex head, the severed T-Rex head that obviously the Spinosaurus has recently been feeding on. And you can see again that we've got the color of the dinosaur itself, but it's absolutely overloaded with disturbing amounts of blood. And when I say disturbing, I mean that in the best way possible. You can see even the teeth are covered in blood. You've got slits and injuries all over the place where the Spinosaurus obviously has, you know, torn up the face of this T-Rex. You've You've got more injuries leading back from the eye, down there, more up there, slices all over the place, and it only gets worse as you move down because you can actually see like the spinal column of the T-Rex there, as well as, again, just blood and guts all over the place. It's just one of the most horrendous sights I've ever seen of a Tyrannosaur, and I absolutely love every second of it. Even though, back when Jurassic Park 3 had come out, I was absolutely pro T-Rex. I was so against the fact that the Spino killed the T-Rex, but now that I've matured a little, I can handle that, and I think the addition of this is just really cool. It's like Nanmu keeps going back and forth because they had the T-Rex that had the Spinosaurus skeleton, so clearly the T-Rex had eaten a Spinosaurus at some point. Now we have the Spinosaurus with a deceased T-Rex, and you can see again that it absolutely has done a number on the T-Rex. You can see the jaws kind of crooked because of the way it's sort of laying down, and even the eyes are painted in a way where you can definitely tell the dinosaur is deceased. Same deal for the initial side, in case you didn't catch that. But again, it's not going to look any prettier over here because you've got blood everywhere, injuries everywhere. Just an unbelievably cool addition to this Spinosaurus model. Definitely love the fact that they included this. And as you can see, the Spinosaurus can stand completely free of the base just fine. There are no issues with it standing at all. But of course, the base itself makes for a way cooler visual. But one thing that I did state earlier is that the T-Rex head actually has a magnet in it, and you'll see it just kind of cling to the base here in a moment. You can't see the magnet, or at least I don't see it, but it's going to cling straight to the base here in a moment. Just kind of grabs the head, and now it sits on there very nicely, looking incredibly cool yet incredibly disgusting. And then, of course, the underside of the foot has a nice little hole to slide onto the peg, and it goes on there really nicely. We don't technically need to measure this because it's the same Spino we had before. We're going to measure it anyway, and we'll do one size comparison, even though we've already done them in the previous review. But you are looking at lengthwise a little over 16 inches, heading towards 16 and a quarter, but not really there quite yet. And then you can see, again, we've got about 41 and I'd say about 41 and a half centimeters for a length. And then for a height, the highest point's definitely the sail. You were looking at just shy of 8.5 inches, or just shy of about 21 and a half centimeters. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, and Robert Muldoon from the Mattel Jurassic World toy line next to our Nanmu Spinosaurus. And you can see it sports a very large, very impressive size. Definitely a very nice, very impressively sized model from Nanmu, as you always get, especially when it comes to these larger theropods. You definitely get a lot of very nicely sized models, and you can really see that here next to these figures. And even though I said I was only going to do one comparison, I decided, what the heck, I'll do one more, because here are all three of the different paint variants of the Nanmu Spinosaurus, not including, of course, the Soul of the Dragon version. But you can see all three of them here next to each other. They look super cool to see all of them next to each other. I can tell you that much straight away. It's absolutely an honor to have all three of these in my collection. But you can also see, if you look down there at the bases are actually a little bit different than I thought they were. You can see, again, just like the placement and, things like that. It's a little bit different overall, but still very, very cool to see a little bit of difference between the bases of the older ones and the newer one. The sculpt of the Spino itself, definitely the same. You can see that there with them all walking, but as I said, the newer one is absolutely my favorite paint variant of all three of these Spinosaurus. So this brand new Pharoah, the Spinosaurus, the brand new limited edition version of the Spinosaurus from Nanmu, is absolutely incredible, and I would honestly say this is probably one of my favorite releases from Nanmu overall. Like, as soon as I had seen this color variant of the Spinosaurus, I instantly fell in love with it. Like, I was so sold the second I had seen it, I can't even begin to describe it to you. The coloration on this is so naturalistic, so smooth, and just so beautiful. It's exactly what I would expect to see on a Spinosaurus. It's very kind of crocodilian, which is always the way I kind of feel like, colorations just look really good on Spinosaurus, where they have that sort of crocodilian resemblance, and I think they've captured that perfectly here. But at the same time, it also has its own individuality. Like, it's obviously not a color that would be on a crocodile. It just looks kind of like it could be. And at the same time, they've added in just so much color variation, so many small, minute differences in color and tone, and such smooth, ridiculously smooth transitions back and forth. Like, it's easily some of the best paintwork I've ever seen on a dinosaur model, but even more so incredible when you take into consideration the fact that this is a mass-produced figure painted at a factory, you know, with 1,000 overall. That's a pretty large amount of these that were made, but again, in the grand scheme of things, when it comes to the amount of dinosaur collectors in the world, that's a pretty small number. 1,000 is not that many to have overall in the world, so something to keep in mind for sure. If you are interested in grabbing one of these, if you're liking what you see here, definitely order it right away so you don't miss out, because you really don't want to miss this Spino. But again, the coloration from head to tail is absolutely incredible. Of course, the sculpt is great. It's easily the best version, in my opinion, of the Jurassic Park 3 Spinosaurus I've seen from anyone when it comes to the sculpt. It is just so spot on and so beautiful. It's also as highly detailed as it could honestly get. Every ounce of the dinosaur is sculpted with the absolute most detail that could possibly be included to give it one of the most beautiful visuals of a Jurassic Park 3 Spinosaurus that I've ever seen. And of course, the fact that we have the JP3 sculpt but with a different coloration to it, I also like, because you know, we've seen through the course of the Jurassic franchise that there are dinosaurs that will appear with different colors. Even when you look at the T-Rex, if you look at the Velociraptors, you look at the Compsognathus, you know, as you see them go through the franchise through different areas of film or, you know, show, when it comes to like Camp Cretaceous, you'll see different paint variants. So it's very much so possible that you could have seen a coloration like this on a Spinosaurus living on Sorna somewhere else on the island that maybe we just never encountered in any of the films or anything. It also could be taken as like more of like a female coloration for a Spinosaurus, because I feel like it has a strong female sort of a look with the, you know, less flashy coloration to it. But on top of the incredible Spino, you also have an amazing base, again, that's very highly detailed. Also sports the destroyed plane like we had seen on the other bases, but now kind of rearranged a little bit, and also including one of the bloodiest scenes Nanmu has ever created, as we have a completely severed head of a T-Rex laying there, and it's just totally torn up, totally bloody. The blood has that awesome gloss coat to it, so it shines and just looks so realistic all over the place. And I like the fact that not only have they put kind of like you know, more modern blood, like you could see it's very current, that some of the blood there is very glossy, very wet, but you can also see that there's kind of like older dried blood. So that leads me to believe that this is probably the den of the Spinosaurus. Like, this is where it resides, this is where it takes its meals back to eat, because you could see blood of older meals here along with blood of our current meal. And the T-Rex, on top of being very highly detailed, just looks absolutely awesome being included in this scene. So as a whole, this is a massive recommendation from me. I cannot begin to tell you guys enough how much you need to pick up this Spinosaurus if you have not already. I will include a link in the description to where you can purchase one on Lana Time Shop, but as I said, it's a limited edition of only 1,000. Numerous different suppliers probably have some of this, so I don't know how many Lana Time Shop themselves actually have for sale. So if you are interested, make sure you place that order right away. Don't miss out on this, and also like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.